IVM. If you like listening to the Paodcast, you can also check out Cyrus Says, hosted by the Cyrus Brocha. It's an irreverent podcast on current events, urban India, politics, sports, civic sense, traffic, kids, food, and everything that matters. Well, mostly.
You're listening to the Paodcast, presented by the Daily Pao.
This is Pranati
and Purva,
and we're from the Daily Pao, a Bombay-specific food and culture platform, and this is our weekly podcast, the Paodcast. This episode is an installment of Bombay Binge, in which we talk about food in the city, so stay tuned for Bombay Binge.
Hi, I'm Amit Verma, the host of the weekly podcast, The Seen and the Unseen. In my show, I examine the seen effects and the unintended consequences of public policy and private action. I show how policies meant to help the poor often end up hurting the poor. I've done episodes so far on demonetization, GST, surgical strikes, immigration and MRP. And I will continue my forensic assault on the truth in the weeks to come.
Catch the show every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer. Or visit seenunseen.in for all the latest updates.
Bombay Binge.
Now, this episode is an installment of Bombay Binge, in which we talk about food in the city, and today we're going to be continuing the series that we've been doing on our favorite long-standing restaurants in the city. This episode is dedicated to Bandra, and we're going to be talking about a bunch of oldie but goodies, that is, restaurants we keep going back to. Now, in Bandra, we've found while we were, working on this episode, that a lot of the oldie but goodies are bakeries, right? I mean, there aren't too many, very diverse old restaurants in Bandra.
No,
they
because
all
Bandra, as you know, is saturated with new bars, new restaurants, and everything
which are constantly
that's
changing.
hip and new, all impermanent. But the ones that have stuck on are the bakeries, and it's not surprising because we have some of the best bakeries in the city, I would say.
Yeah.
My favorite are all within like
a very short radius.
A minute. They're very short radius from each other and from my home. And my favorite among these is American Express Bakery, which is on Hill Road. It's right next to A1 Bakery, which is also very popular with the suburb. With people who like to get a 6 a.m. breakfast. They start selling their rolls and stuff really early. But let's start with American Express, which has got a new paint job now, a nice cute little graffiti on its walls. It's got a red exterior, and this was set up in 1930s, and they do excellent sweet and savory snacks. Inside, the bakery is still stuck in time. They sort of showcase all their snacks in these little glass...
these wicker baskets.
Wicker baskets and these glass and wood cabinets. It's old cabinets you'll expect to find at someone's home, like an old Bandra home. And they're better suited for showcasing curios, but here you have like these cakes and sandwiches on display there. So it's all very cute. And they have like this wooden bench inside where you can just sit and eat. So there's no actual provision for eating there.
Yeah.
But that wooden bench, you'll just find an auntie sitting there some days, or you can just get a quick
snack,
cake slice or a sandwich to go. My favorites here are their mutton roast sandwich is fantastic. Mm-hmm. It's very buttery, but it's really tasty. What I really like about the savories at American Express is that, it's not like that sort of common, slathered with mayonnaise and, the generic snacks that you get in the bakeries nearby. They do, so in addition to the mutton roast, you like the prawn cutlets a lot.
No, they're prawn puffs.
The prawn puffs, sorry.
So, so the prawn puffs, like you usually get chicken puffs in most places, but these guys do prawn puffs, and it's a tangy and spicy prawn mix inside.
Okay.
And usually when I'm on my way home, because I get a cab from there, I buy a couple of prawn puffs to eat in the cab. And this is something I've discovered recently, actually, the prawn puffs.
I've actually never tried that, but I go very often for their Hungarian coffee cake, which is this nice sort of toffee taste, and it's like a really dense sponge cake with a nice sort of this toffee lacquer. So that's quite good. They actually have a rotating menu, so which not only locals will be able to tell you. So on Monday, you'll get the banana walnut loaf. On Tuesday, like this country style raisins and walnut bread. And on Friday, they have the Battenberg cake and lemon pie. So every day at 5 p.m. they replenish their stocks, and they're actually known for their breads. So I get this really nice sun-dried tomato slice, or they do also really nice raisin-studded bran muffins, rustic oats bread. Like I said, the sun-dried tomato and basil is one of my favorites. And their bread, their central kitchen is based in Baikala. They used to have a store in Grant Road, which they've shut down, a store and kitchen. And
the one in Baikala on Clare Road, it's a landmark. It's this huge place, and it's got their logo, the baker.
Yeah.
It's quite, it's quite a big relief on the facade of the building. You can't miss it.
Yeah, and they do chicken patties, mutton patties, plum cakes, and
basically all kinds of old school pastries and snacks.
Yeah, but they're really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I still go to them. Or like I said, I live just 2 minutes away from them. So that's American Express for you. Right next to American Express is Hirsch Bakery, which is also like a really inexpensive, really small, always busy snack shop. Again, known for its mutton samosa, chicken lollipops, mutton sandwiches. It doesn't have quite like that sort of tidy display or anything. It's more like this, market you just have to get in and get out, and the shelves empty out pretty fast. So there's Hirsch. Then there's Cafe Andorra, which is very close to St. Andrew's College.
That's right.
And it's pretty much like the college hangout. It's like a replacement for the canteen, pretty much for the students.
Yeah, in fact, when I was growing up,
yeah,
my aunt who lives in Bandra, whenever she came over, she would bring us these burgers from Andorra.
Yeah.
And there were these big, juicy patties, and like very old school with mayo, tomato, lettuce, and a very meaty patty.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Andorra's burgers.
Yeah,
and I still do. You know?
The thing about like all of these places is it's not much to look at. They're completely frills free, but they've stuck around, and their prices haven't like escalated too much. So that's
Right.
always nice. And you can get a filling snack in, just like a pre-meal, like a starter. Often
Yeah.
people just...
And these snacks remind you of childhood.
Yeah.
They're
They're
very
totally steeped in
familiar,
nostalgia.
very comforting taste.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why these places have endured, because, Bandra is just this ever-changing, train of restaurants and bars. But these places have stuck around, and it's great because, these flavors just seem so rooted in a sense.
Yeah. So Andorra's is, if you're gonna pop by, get the sausage rolls. They have chicken cutlets, rum balls, cheese croquettes. They also sell fugia, which sells out pretty quick. I don't think they have this every day. It's the deep fried East Indian bread. They do a pork sorpotel, and they have a little bit of like your Chinese Indian mishmash, which is best avoided, but they offer it anyway because it's like a
Right.
canteen. They
Yeah.
treat themselves as a college canteen pretty
Right.
much.
Then McCraig, which is another, long-standing snack shop. And I really like McCraig because they sell one of my favorite snacks, the sausage pao, the
Yeah.
Goan sausage pao. And I remember the first time I had sausage pao was actually quite late in life. I think this was when I was, in my first journalism job, when I was at Time Out, and someone had brought sausage pao to work, and I had it, and I felt like someone had just, blown my brain. It was so amazing.
Prawn is partial to sausages.
Yeah.
But is it like chorizo or?
Yeah,
is
it's
it-
chorizo. It's
Okay.
chorizo pao.
Right.
And then someone recommended McCraig. And I remember I was in Bandra and I went to McCraig's and I bought myself a couple of sausage paos. And I mean, it's just not, you can't get your fill of that flavor of, sausage pao. It's an amazing combination. And McCraig's does a pretty good chorizo pao. It's not very spicy, so I can handle it. So that is the one thing and pretty much the only thing I get at McCraig's because I don't see anything else.
All of these places have a pretty loyal customer base. Like, you can get grannies and fourth generations, and it's just it's amazing how the family just continues eating the same thing. I don't know if this is a Bandra thing, but
No, I mean, I think it's, it's everywhere. I mean, it's a familiar taste. It's a familiar taste, and the food it's consistent, it's good, and it's not very expensive.
Well, same goes for candies. You get similar food at Candies, which is now a multiple story venue, not far from McCraig. It's just walking distance. And they
In
have
fact,
4 stories.
The same family, but there was some, dispute.
Dispute, yeah. So Candies, everybody's familiar with it. They have 3 branches in Bandra, but the most popular one is just at Palinaka. And
I think everyone has a Candies favorite item.
Mine is the chicken jungly sandwich and the chicken dragon chicken, which is available.
What's the dragon chicken?
It's just like this sort of red, not as spicy as it looks, or chicken preparation that you can get in a gravy, or you can get a dragon chicken roll. Or there are 2 iterations of it. So that's a very Candies thing. Plus you get, inexpensive Easter eggs, when it's Easter, of course. And then they have like tarts and brownies, and they have a salad bar, which is pretty crap.
Yeah.
But people love Candies. It's just like the comfort of something.
Yeah, it's just, it has a very homey vibe.
Yeah, and it's a great place. Like, you don't have to move quickly. You can just spend days there, and hours there, not days. I know people who like roost there, so I'm sure that they've spent a lot of days there as well.
Well, not far from Candies, if you double back towards Palinaka, is Soul Fry, which is another Bandra institution. This is a Goan seafood place.
Yeah, Goan, very well known for its Monday night karaoke.
For its Monday night karaoke.
Yeah.
So I remember going to this Monday night karaoke and I was unprepared. I thought it would be like how karaoke usually is, so a bit of silly fun. I actually think karaoke is really stupid. Anyway, but the difference between Soul Fry's karaoke and any other karaoke is that it's in Bandra, and this means that all these choir singers who have incredible voices sing. So if you have a terrible voice, you don't even have the balls to sing in front of them because they're all competing with each other, and you can't get a note in.
Yeah, which I'm fine with because
I'm fine with it
not,
too.
Like dying to sing in karaoke, but it's a fun night to go. While you're there, you can get the chicken kafrial, the
reshad. They do a great reshad.
Yeah, their tisriya sukha, which is clams, the bombil fry, the fish curry rice. Consistently good food. They have soul curry, very inexpensive booze as a plus point.
Yeah.
So
and my favorite item there is the prawn loncha. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and it's a very relaxed, really relaxed. It feels. It just feels like you have stepped into some sort of Goa lunch home.
In fact, some years ago they opened a branch in Fort opposite the university, Casa Soul Fry, and it was quite popular when it opened, and it was just lovely to have this pretty restaurant serving great Goan food in Fort. But then I guess it didn't do particularly well, and it closed down a few years later.
Yeah,
but moving on from this sort of bakery type food is a famous chaat institution also on Hill Road, and Purva, you like this a lot. It's Elko. Everyone loves Elko. I personally have had great chaat elsewhere, so I don't see Elko's enduring appeal.
I'm not saying it's my favorite either. There is Karachi Snacks in Bandra, which is, in my opinion, they specialize in like Sindhi preparations of pani puri and ragda and all of that. So I think Karachi is fantastic. It's also a sweet mart, and it deserves mention. You have to locate it. It's opposite Bandra Medical in a little lane, and it's really a makeshift space, so you just have to sit out al fresco in like these little benches. So do check out Karachi Snacks. But Elko, it deserves a mention because, it literally has grown with Bandra, and now it's like a twin story venue where you get pani puri with your bisleri. They were the first people to make
Bisleri pani puri.
Yeah, they were the first people to make chaat like a more sort of hygienic affair, and they've been consistent with their chaat. So they're very well known for pani puri, for ragda, for not so much for pav bhaji, but people still order it. They serve it with brown bread, if that's that's a discovery element for us as well. And they do really good desserts. So you'll get rasmalai, rabdi, gulab jamun, kulfi. Elko's also now, their empire has grown also because they do a lot of caterings in the city. Mm-hmm. So now they're, a lot of people for Holi or other events, they're completely vegetarian. They hire Elko to cater.
Right.
So it's literally like, I read this online somewhere. Somebody's written about their story as ragda to riches, which I thought is a cute way of describing.
Headline.
Yeah, but you can't mention Bandra oldie but goodies and not have Elko on that list, because it has fierce loyalists, and my parents are among those because they've been going since they were young.
Yeah,
and like again, the sons took over the dad's enterprise, and they've also sort of preserved that that street cart flavor,
right,
while making street food a bit more hip,
right,
and more pricey, of course, because now you're eating an air-conditioned atmosphere or whatever.
Well, a little away from the nucleus of Hill Road and Pali Naka is Ranwar.
Yeah,
and Ranwar has a whole bunch of snack shops.
A lot of snack shops. A lot of them, like, you'll even miss like name boards or whatever, because they're so unassuming and modest. It's often just like little families living there who literally sell stuff at their doorstep.
Right.
So you'll get really nice things like mutton chops or potato chops, cutlets, sandwiches, rolls, puffs. Kalpana Snacks is one of the most popular ones on that road.
And very noticeable because it has these cute illustrations, these black and white illustrations on the facade.
Yeah.
Things like
a mustache. That's the one I remember as well.
Faces.
And like black and red against a white background. So you can't really miss Kalpana Snacks if you're walking in Ranwar, Chapel Road, this is. And it's a great area to just walk in and get familiar with, old Bandra. And like I said, you'll get a variety of snacks. There'll be people selling like little coconut macaroons on their stoop, or fugias,
Right.
So there are times in the day when they do this. So evenings are a good time when the market just comes alive. There's a lot of masala shops on one end of Ranwar. You'll get amazing pickles,
right?
Homemade pickles, East Indian style, or Goan, whatever. Like a good mix of that kind of food. Jeff Caterers is also located there.
That's right.
Bandra's favorite biryani purveyors.
Right.
You can say Lucky is the other one, but it's not made it to our list. So yeah, Kalpana Snacks, but like I said, that whole street is really worth exploring if you're new to Bandra or just trying to rediscover Bombay. Then there's also, Ranwar and stuff is still pretty much parallel to Hill Road, but if you move away a bit, there's Mini Punjab.
Yeah, which is this institution. And I remember the first time I heard of Mini Punjab, I was at a Parsi wedding.
Okay.
And it was a fairly orthodox Parsi family, so I was expecting bonu, for dinner. But they had it catered by Mini Punjab.
Yeah.
So I felt a bit cheated, but that's the first time I heard of Mini Punjab.
Yeah.
And, then I saw that it's this Bandra institution and it's famous for its rolls. I mean, you've eaten there a lot.
Well, it's famous for its rolls now, because what Punjab does is, and I think they're just doing this sort of on the sly a bit, they sell really good, like say butter chicken or tikka rolls or Sikh rolls up till 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
You're not allowed to park there. They just, usher you slightly away from the restaurant. But they deliver these piping hot rolls to your car. But what Mini Punjab was known for before this whole rolls business, and I don't even know when they initiated this, but obviously they do really brisk business at night, especially when there's a whole clutch of bars in that area that wind down at 1:30.
Yeah, so great after a bender.
Yeah, great after a bender, exactly. And their curries, their gravies and all are made fresh. So, you can actually taste that even at that time, which is great because their tandoors are roaring, which no other place will keep running. They were actually known as the tandoori chicken joint. And right next to Mini Punjab, there are places like Khane Khas and Pal's Chicken. So there were these little tandoori chicken spots, and Mini Punjab obviously has an extensive menu. They have a little air-conditioned seating as well. A lot of people, they're mainly known for their takeaway business, but they do have a little upstairs a dine-in spot. But they do a fantastic chicken seek, which I order home pretty often. I prefer chicken over mutton because it's just an easier meat to digest. Don't judge me. But their chicken seek is fantastic, and I'm assuming their mutton seek would be too. They do good biryanis, not very greasy. And of course, their tikkas and stuff are like super famous. So that's Mini Punjab. It's been around for a while as well.
And finally, we know that Khar is a separate suburb, and we're probably doing it a bit of injustice by including it in this episode, which is on Bandra. Nevertheless, as a footnote, we'd like to mention two places in Khar.
There's Tharu's, which is the
institution.
Street mart. It is an institution, especially if you're a Sindhi in the suburb. I am 3/4 Sindhi. So I grew up eating Tharu's mithais. They're completely ghee-laden, rich, delicious, great for gifting. But my favorite thing at Tharu is not the mithais, it's their dal pakwan, which is only available on Sundays. It sells out in the morning. Get there early. It's fantastic. You can really taste the pure ghee, which is they put it in the dal and in the pakwan. The chutneys are fantastic. It's been a Sunday breakfast for us very, very often while I was growing up. Not far from Tharu's on Linking Road is Quality. Now, Quality is a snack shop that, again, I grew up on. Like, my nana used to go there and he used to bring us. It's a farsan shop, not so much farsan, but they have everything. They have your chips and dry fruits and biscuits, but like still very old school. They have like these glass jars with, steel a screw on tops and stuff. So it's a really cute little, I guess, a snack shop, and still very popular with everybody who lives around Linking Road. And they have like a little their own Quality Frankie guy outside it. I haven't been in a while, and I have it from Priyanka, who is our producer, that it's still available. Their Frankies are really good. For me, it's just nostalgia, so I think it's one of the best Frankie in the city.
How would you compare it to Tibbs?
I think it's, like I said, Prawn, I've grown up on it, so I find it tastier. I find Tibbs just like now, homogenous,
right.
Yeah. And there are not too many qualities around, and it has that home style feel still, and you can tell them thoda zyada crisp or extra chilies or whatever. But I still think it's one of the best Frankies in the city, in addition to the one we mentioned to y'all in a couple of episodes ago, which was in Shivaji Park. So if you haven't
really
been
love that
listening,
one.
I do love that one. That's Movenpick. This is Quality Frankie. And yeah, that's it for our Bandra roundup. If we've missed anything, let us know your favorites.
And see you next week. For more on what's happening in the city, read thedailypao.com. Also subscribe to our newsletter on the website. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're The Daily Pao. You can find new episodes of the podcast every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer, and on thedailypao.com.
एक्सक्यूज मी भैया, एक्सक्यूज मी,
बोलिए मैडम।
मेन्यू में क्या है?
मेन्यू में सीन अनसीन है, पॉडकास्ट है, ऑन कोर्स है, साइरस है, मेड इन इंडिया, रीडिस्कवरी प्रोजेक्ट, एम्पावरिंग सीरीज, सेक्स वैक्स है, IVM लाइक्स है, सिंप्लीफाइड है, कीपिंग इट क्वियर है, ड्रिंक्स एंड डेस्टिनेशंस है, माय नेबर सकरबर्ग है, और द फैन गराज है। आपको क्या चाहिए?
एक बार रिपीट कर देंगे क्या?
रिपीट नहीं करता हम। आप जाओ IVMpodcast.com पे और सुनो ये सब, या फिर डाउनलोड करो उनका ऐप, सब आपकी उंगलियों पे।